Hi, I'm Madeline, and in this video I'm going to teach you how to tie off your project and weave in your ends. So I just have this small swatch here. This is actually my double crochet swatch, so I'm going to finish this off with the last stitch, end it, and then weave in all the ends. Yarn over, insert, yarn over, draw through to connect, yarn over, draw through 2, yarn over, draw through 2. So now that is my last stitch. What you want to do is when you just have your one loop, you're going to yarn over and pull through and just continue to pull through. If your work is not yet cut, then you will cut it, pull that through, and now you've created a knot on this side. So that's not going to come out. Then you're going to take a darning needle. There's a couple different varieties of these. I prefer to have the ones that are aluminum with a bent tip on them. This one I think I bought this off Amazon, but any local craft store will have them as well. You take your end. To make it easier on myself, I actually put my yarn over my needle to create a little bit of a point so I can easily put that through instead of trying to deal with the frayed fibers on the end of the yarn. This is the right side of my work. This is the wrong side. That's just the traditional term for it. Really, whichever side you find to be the more finished side or prettier side, or whichever side you prefer, that you will use as your right side, and you will sew in your ends on the opposite side. So this is, I'm going to choose this as the back side of my work. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to seam in your ends at the bottom legs of your stitches. So since this is a double, it's a little bit longer, so I'm going to kind of try and work my way down there and try not to split the yarn, and then try to get underneath that first leg. Now you don't want to pull too tight, so what I usually do is I put my thumb over the stitch so I'm securing the shape of the stitch and I'm not pulling it out of shape. Then you're going to want to work this underneath the legs. And I usually go, say, about 1.5 inches to 2 inches, depending on what my project is. Now when you pull your needle back up, you're going to want to pull it out from, so this, each one of these is a stitch. You're going to want to pull your needle out in the middle of a stitch. So there's the stitch there, and I'm kind of coming out in the middle. That way your stitches don't separate on the other side. And just pull this through. You don't want to pull tight. You're going to skip over this leg here and then go back in. Now when you go back in, you want to try and catch what you did before. And this is just a trial and error. You'll get the feel for it. But you don't want to just go back in. You want to actually go back in and kind of catch into, there's my needle. So this right here is what I just pulled through. And here's my needle underneath. So you want to try and almost catch in that yarn there to really make sure it is secure. And then you're going to just, because it's the same color, this doesn't matter. Because it's the same color, it won't matter. If it was the same color, which is why I use a brightly colored darning needle, but if I was sewing in something that was a different color, I would want to check, because wherever your darning needle is, that's where your yarn will show up. But for this, because we're just weaving in the same color, it doesn't matter. And then you're just going to snip it very close and pull it a little bit, and that'll bring it back in. And you can't even see that at all. Now what if you have a different color that you wanted to weave in? Well, you can. You really want to weave in your colors on your colors, so even if it's a multicolored blanket, I'm going to show you this with this scrap piece of yarn just so you really can see where I'm going. So here, this is where I just did it, and you can't see it at all because it's all the same color. This is what you're going to be doing. Underneath the legs, and coming up. So here are the legs here, and you're coming up in the middle of the next one. You can't really see it on that side. This is the front side. You can see it a little bit. You're going to skip over that first one and then go in and try to catch your yarn that you just pulled through as you're going in. And so you can still see it, if you can see it because it's a different color. It's very minimal, but this gives you an idea of where you're actually placing your sewing your yarn in. And I can even show you this is very secure in there. It's not coming out. You'd really have to pull it to get that out. Just snip these two off. So again, with my same color here, work your way kind of up the stitch to where you can insert it under the posts of the legs. And you want to try not to catch your work. And it gets easier, and you kind of start to learn where the placement should be to really make it secure. I think the tendency is to do it more than needed. I've been doing this for 25 years, and I've never had any of my stitches come out with this method. And there you have it. Thanks for watching.